Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing some kind of soft-spoken ASMR. It's actually bone broth, it's beef bone broth. I drink this a lot when I'm craving things. I'm kind of also gonna try to take it a little bit more slow today. I was rewatching a few of my videos and I get really excited. If you've seen my previous videos, I'm very, very excited about everything, and so today I'm going to try to be a little bit more mellow. But I am turning 30, or actually, when this video is being posted, I would have already have been 30. My birthday is near the end of September, so I believe I'm going to be putting this out sometime in October. But yeah, so I really wanted to talk about just the things I've learned so far. 20s is always a wild ride. There's so much that happens in your 20s, and whoever says that your 20s are your golden years is a liar. Your 20s it's not. I think your 20s is nice if you're exploring and you're taking risks and you're learning. I think that's really what your 20s is good for. But 20s, it's not necessarily the best place for like security or feeling stable, whether that be mentally or physically. Your 20s is really about kind of being introduced to the world and understanding where you fit. And from my elders, or the people I've talked to that are older than me, they always say your 30s and even your 40s is a great time to understand who you are. So for anyone that is not 30 yet, and if you're in your 20s, or even if you're a teenager, just a couple of words of advice. I did make a list. I was going to do 30 things that I've learned in the 30 years of life, but that is so difficult, especially when I think it just becomes redundant. I even tried going on Google and trying to find other people's lists for inspiration, and every time I found 30 things I learned when I was 30, everything was kind of redundant. So I'm going to try my best not to be redundant. I might sound redundant, but here we go. Notice how you talk to yourself was the first thing I wrote. So it's really easy to get into like this shameful mindset, but if you learn to talk to yourself in a positive way, or even going to therapy and learning how to like structure certain ways of talking to yourself, the better. I spent a lot of my teenage years into my 20s not really understanding how to be compassionate. It sounds kind of cringe, but being compassionate is very important. Because imagine you're talking to a friend and they're having a bad day. You probably wouldn't say, "What's wrong with you? You're a failure. Like, this is not working. Like, you're obviously dumb," right? You probably tell them, "Hey, it's okay. Everyone has bad days. You're gonna be okay. Like, I'm here for you. Let's, do X, Y, and Z. Let's go get ice cream, whatever." And that is the way you should be talking to yourself. It's way harder to do than to say, because it took me a long time to get there. It took a lot of therapy, and it took a lot of self-reflection. And I think your 20s that's part of the journey, is understanding yourself and reflecting. I think I actually, in my list, and I can get into it now. Yeah, I said learning about yourself and the world around you gives you more control. Instead of blindly doing the things that people are saying to do or whatever, question it, critically think, and learn, and be curious about what's going on. So a lot of the times I get frustrated when I was in my 20s when I didn't really know what was going on with myself mentally. So I'd have a bad feeling, and then I would take it out on everybody else. I would project that feeling onto other people. But then I started getting curious about the mind and the body and all this good stuff. I'm not necessarily a spiritual person, but I really wanted to explore why my body was reacting to certain things in a certain way. And for those of you that don't know, it's a somatic response. So somatic means that there's something happening psychologically that is stressful or disorienting, and it's coming out in physical ways. So imagine you have stage fright. Perfect example. You have stage fright. Nothing is physically, like, no one's attacking you, you're not in immediate danger, you're not getting physically harmed in any way, but a lot of people get upset stomachs, or they feel dizzy, or they feel nauseous, and that is a somatic response because something is happening in your mind that is not positive, and it's coming out in your body. And just understanding that thought and being aware of it gives you more control over it. Understanding where it's coming from and finding ways to soothe yourself, and then going back to the how are you talking to yourself. But all those are like very psychological and self-help like, but it's really important. I think people that can self-reflect and be self-aware and understand themselves and the people around them have a way better time of navigating the world. Okay, second thing. I said, if they like you, you'll know. And if they don't, you'll be confused. This is a quote that I got. I think I was looking at a Reddit post and I found it. It was specifically because I was dealing with relationships in my 20s and I was having a really hard time understanding what was going on. And somebody wrote, if they like you, you'll know, and if they don't, you'll be confused. And it's very true. Right now, I'm in like the longest partnership I've had in my life, and I don't ever question if my partner likes me or if they love me or how they view me. But every single relationship before that, I did. And it's mostly because those people didn't really value the relationship as much as I valued the relationship, or I was very obsessive and they were very avoidant. And I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with unrequited love, but I've had my fair share of it. I think it's just a part of being young, is to have a lot of unrequited love. And I would say don't waste your time on that, but it's really difficult not to. I think it's just a rite of passage to have at least one unrequited love, somebody that doesn't reciprocate. I mean, obviously you can have more. I've had a lot. A lot of the reason I had a lot of those is because I really wasn't self-aware. I made a lot of mistakes. I obsessed over a lot of people. Actually, at the end of the day, when I went to therapy and I started getting better, I learned that it wasn't necessarily the people, it was myself. I was looking for a distraction. I was looking for something to get me out of whatever it is that I was in. I won't talk about it here because I don't really want to get into it, but I had a rough time. My upbringing and my early 20s was really rough, and I didn't talk about it a lot, and so I would take it out on finding distractions, and those distractions became relationships, and specifically relationships with people that didn't want a relationship with me. And then I would continue at that because I wanted to win, which there's no winning in a relationship. It's a partnership. There's no I win, you lose, but for some reason that's how I viewed it. But highly recommend just understanding that you'll know if somebody likes you, and you don't need to go on the internet and find out what somebody likes you looks like, or what somebody that doesn't like you looks like. You'll know. And the person you probably want to be with is the person that's honest and transparent about it. They're not hiding, they're not playing games, they're upfront. That's what I did for my partner right now. Is I liked him and I told him. There was no games. There was just me saying, I like you and I want to be with you. It's really difficult to do that, but I have faith in those of you that need to get there. It takes a little bit. I said friends will come and go. So I've had a lot of friend groups in my life, and in my early 20s I had a group of friends from college. I really liked them and I enjoyed them, but I think we grew in different directions, and that's okay. I may not have liked the way it ended. Sorry, I have something on my lip. I may not liked how the way it ended, but I enjoyed being with them, and I still wish them the best, and every now and then I see them for events, but we're not as close as we used to be. But the nice thing is, I now have friends that I am very close to because I've grown into those friendships. And I wouldn't change that for the world. But people do outgrow you. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. I feel like a lot of people get stuck in the, I've known them since I was a kid, or like they're basically family. But is the quality of your relationship worth having them for the rest of your life, right? Like, would you rather have somebody that makes you feel alive and good about yourself, or have someone that's kind of putting you down and it's only because you've known them for like 10, 15, 20 years? Just something to think about. Oh, this one's good. I said don't wait for anybody. Go to that concert, go to that movie if you want. I think in my early 20s, I was so afraid of being alone and doing things alone. I was afraid of what people will think about me. I was afraid of what people will say about me. But the truth is, and I'm sure you've heard it from so many different people, no one cares, but in a positive way. It's good that nobody cares, that nobody's truly looking at you, because then you can do what you want. So I had a moment, probably when I was 23, 24, where I was single. I wasn't dating anyone. It was like the first time in a really long time I wasn't in a relationship, and I spent 4 years dating myself, which included going to the movies alone. It included going to a restaurant alone, like a sit-down restaurant alone. It felt weird, but over time it was great because I didn't miss out on the things that I really wanted to do. As some of you know, I listen to some different music, and people don't always like the things I listen to. So it was either I wait to find someone that listens to the same things I do, or I go by myself. And going by myself, way better than waiting. But if you want to do something, it's okay to do it alone. And you'll probably meet people along the way. It does suck being alone, but I think it sucks more missing the things that you really want to do. I said, take care of your teeth. Take care of your teeth. If you don't floss or brush regularly, just start now. I think I was 24. I think I was 24 when I went to the dentist for the first time in like 7 years because I was so afraid of the dentist. I had a lot of work done to my teeth when I was a kid, and then when I became an adult, I just avoided them completely. And I wasn't taking good care of my teeth. And I went in and I had it's like bittersweet. I had a hard time accepting the fact that I didn't take care of my teeth. But I had a good time with the doctor that I had. Like, the doctor that I looked for, the dentist that I looked for, was specialized in being, I don't know what it's called, but they're more like kind to people with anxiety about going to the dentist. And I know a lot of people have anxiety about going to the dentist, but if you do have anxiety, always look for a doctor that specializes in dental anxiety. I forgot what it's called. There is an actual term for it. This type of dentist. I'm gonna look for it just in case anyone hasn't gone to the dentist in a while and you're nervous. There's 2 options. You can go in and they'll actually give you anxiety meds so you're not too anxious, or like they have ways of just kind of talking you down and making sure you're okay. It's called sedation dentistry. It sounds really scary. They don't like sedate you to the point where like you're knocked out, but they give you some medicine so that you feel better. But if you're having a hard time, go to sedation dentist. But anyways, take care of your teeth. It's incredible how your teeth are directly related to your general health and your lifespan. Take care of your teeth, no matter what you do. For the longest time, I had gum disease. I still like slightly do, but it wasn't as bad. And you probably can't tell my teeth are, I take very, very good care of my teeth. But it's okay if you're embarrassed. Dentists have seen way worse. Go to the dentist. Do it. That's my advice for you guys on that front. I said, your job is not your life. I think the younger generation is a little bit better at like understanding this, but I think the older generation has a really hard time trying to figure out how to separate life and work. I had a very difficult time. I grew up like with my parents were always working, and that was like the most important thing you could ever do in the world. But no, your work is not your life. Your work supports your life, but your work is not your life. I learned this because I was working at a company where I'd be working overtime. I was working like 50, 60 hours a week to be the best, to make sure my team they had everything they needed. And I was working for a tech company, and within like, I think 8 months of working there and working really, really hard, half of my team and half of the company got laid off for no reason. And it was even a slap in the face when we got laid off and then they started hiring. So the companies, they don't care about you. Either start your own company, which I've done before, and it's nerve-wracking, but if you have the ability to do it and you like doing it, highly recommend. Or just, go, if it's a 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, you're out. That's what I do now. When people message me at like 4:50 and they're like, hey, can you work on this thing? I say, no, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm heading out. I'm clocking out at 5. And I know maybe some people might say that that's rude or that's not fair, but I want to spend a lot more time with the people I love, and going to work is not going to help that. Maybe if you want a promotion or something, but don't bend over backwards. You're just a number at a company. you really are. I said, you won't be everyone's cup of tea, so don't try to change for them. I have so many embarrassing moments in my life, and a majority, like 99% of those embarrassing moments are because I was trying to be exactly what the person in front of me wanted. I think it's called fawning. Let me look it up. I just learned this term the other day. It's actually, I think, considered a trauma response, but let me show you guys what it means. So fawning is when you display an exaggerated flattery or affection to somebody that you don't know. So what I would do when I was younger, my most embarrassing times in my life, is I would meet somebody, and instead of, getting to know them, understanding who they are, understanding what they like and what they don't like before showing your full self, I would just show everything. I would put everything out on the table all at once, and that scared a lot of people, and honestly, at the end of the day, it scared myself. But the reason I was doing that was because I wanted people to like me, and I wanted to fit in whatever box they wanted me in. So I would lay all my cards out, and I would go, okay, they liked this, they didn't like that, or they liked that, and they didn't like this, and I would tweak it over and over and over again. And all that led me to was low quality relationships. I had very surface level relationships and friendships with people that, at the end of the day, didn't matter. And I also wasn't being true to myself, and I was trying to be like everybody else. Don't do that. Just be yourself. People that like you will attract. Like right now, I'm making this ASMR video. I have this YouTube channel, and I've said it before, I am really not here for the algorithm, and I'm really not here for promoting things. I'm just here to find people that like me, and I'm trying to find people that have similar views and tastes and whatever as me, and whoever will find me will find me. I truly believe that. I think I was watching a vlog, and the vlogger was like, what is mine will find me, and what is not will leave, or whatever. Oh, I don't remember the quote, but it was really good. It was a mantra that I kept saying to myself, because like the people in your life that are meant to be in your life will stay, and the people that aren't won't. And it has nothing, it's a lie. I was going to say it has nothing to do with you, but it could. Sometimes people are just toxic, or situations are toxic, but sometimes things are genuinely out of your control, no matter how hard you try. But that is to say, you should always try your best to be the best that you can be. You should try to practice being a good person, being self-aware, being empathetic. I think those are, at least to me, the most valuable things, and the people that have that are the people that I vibe with the best. And maybe yours is different, and you'll find those people that you vibe with too. I don't want to make this too long. I'm just picking from, I wrote down 19 things that I learned and I wanted to share, but I'm not going to go through all of them because that's actually ridiculous. If you live alone, slow cooker is life. I lived alone for 6 years, and it's really fun because you get to do what you want to do, but it's also very lonely because there's no one else to do things with you, or there's no one to talk to. There's no one that you can just, at least when I was younger and I lived with my family, I could just go to one of my family members' rooms and be like, hey, I want to talk to you about this, and it's easy. But when you live alone, you have to call them, you have to schedule time with them, you got to figure out what's going on in their life, all that good stuff. So when you're living alone and you want to pretend like you're not alone, sounds so sad. If you want to pretend that you're not alone, you should get a slow cooker. I highly recommend beef stew or some type of like pasta or like some type of meat that you can put in the stew. If you don't work from home and you work somewhere else, put that thing on for 8 hours while you're gone, and then when you come home, your house or apartment or whatever will smell so good. It's gonna feel like somebody's there cooking for you, but you did all that. And it's just such a warm and nice feeling. Even if you're alone, it's such a great feeling coming home to like the smell of warm food and like coziness. So I highly recommend if you're living alone right now, even if you're not. I think it's just it's something that you should do. I love slow cookers. Oh, this is another relationship one, and I learned this from my current partner. So when you and your partner are arguing or fighting or whatever, assuming you're in a healthy relationship with somebody that wants to work with you, it's not me versus you. Like, I said this and my statement's right and your statement's wrong. It's not that. It's you both, or you all, I don't know if people are poly, whoever, versus the problem. So it's harder said than done, because I still get in the mindset where I'm like, well, I'm right and you're wrong and all this good stuff. But it only takes that one person in the relationship, I mean, eventually needs to be both, but that one person to go, look, you and I are arguing over, let's say, like the dishes, right? Like, I'm doing it, you're not. It's not that. It's the dishes aren't getting done. How do we deal with that? How can we handle that problem? And a lot of people also do something where they pretend to have a third roommate. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. If you're living with your significant other, you pretend you have a third roommate so that you can kind of like differentiate or like pull apart the personal emotions, right? So like if the dishes aren't done, let's pretend I have a third roommate. We can call them like Alex. Be like, oh, Alex didn't do the dishes again, look at this. And then you tell your partner about it and they're like, God, Alex sucks. And like, you're just bashing this invisible third roommate. And you go, okay, what should we do if Alex isn't gonna do the dishes? And then you just kind of work through there. Just couples therapy 101. But yeah, it's not you versus me, it's us versus the problem. No is a complete sentence. I actually told my niece this the other day because she's a people pleaser, and I mean, I'm not as much as I was before. I still am in a way, but I'm not as much as I was before. But my niece is a people pleaser, and I told her, I said, no is a complete sentence. So if somebody is asking you for something and you don't want to do it, instead of beating around the bush and making excuses and talking over and over again about it, just say no. You don't need to give them an explanation. You don't need to say what you like. I mean, obviously you could be polite about it. You could be like, hey, I'm really not into that, I'm sorry. Like, no, or whatever. But no is a complete sentence. You don't need to give anyone an explanation. You just do what you gotta do. And again, this is in reference to if you're not hurting other people, if other people aren't hurting you, like being safe about it. I don't want this to be out of context. I'll do like 2 more, maybe 3, I don't know. I know this video's getting a little long. I don't know if you guys like long videos. You can let me know. I like them and I don't like them at the same time. I like them because it's nice to have it as background noise, but I don't like them because I have to edit more stuff. Even though I don't make that many edits these days, I usually just have this thing run on its own. Anyways, save your money. And I don't mean like save it, like get your money and then just like put it into like a savings account and just leave it in there. I mean, like, invest your money, plan for retirement. Planning for retirement is huge. I actually didn't really understand like retirement until it was actually my dentist that told me. I think I was 24 at the time, or 25. I was sitting in my dentist's chair and he was cleaning my teeth, and he's like, or I guess, well, my hygienist was cleaning my teeth and my dentist was just around, and my dentist was like, hey, do you have a 401k? Do you have a Roth IRA? And I was like, what? And so as I was getting my teeth cleaned, he literally explained all of these things to me, and he's like, you're gonna go home today after we clean your teeth, you're gonna open up a Roth account, you're gonna make sure like you have certain savings, you're gonna put money in there every month, and you're gonna, invest in some type of like index fund and all this other stuff. And that's what I did, and I don't regret it, because now I Roth IRA. Anyways, save your money. I don't really have personal advice on how to do that. If you're on YouTube, go look how to invest and how to save and how to budget. It will really help you in the long run. And if you're under 30, it is just absolutely important for you to understand how to deal with money and save and invest in your future. I said it's okay to cut off a toxic family member. I won't get too into my personal issues. I don't really want to get into that today, but what is it that they say? Blood is thicker than water, or something like that. It's all bullshit. Be in the relationships, family, friend, whatever, that are quality and important and that matter to you, and they don't have a label on them. Just because somebody is your aunt or your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister doesn't mean that they get to stay in your life if they're disrespecting you, if they're abusing you, or if they're just treating people around you unfairly. I just want to let anyone that needs to know that. It took me a while in my 20s to understand, but it's okay. Those people don't need to be in your life. And the people that shame you, either they'll understand or they won't. And it's none of their business. So, and then on a positive note, maybe I should leave you guys on a positive note, because I feel like a lot of this has been very serious. I feel like it's all sad. I guess the positive note is have fun, do the things you want to do. Just live your life. Life is so short. I mean, it goes by so fast. People say it goes by so fast when I was younger, and I was like, whatever, that's just old people talk, but it does. It truly does. It goes by so fast. And why not spend that time doing the things that you want to do that, within reason, like they're not hurting anybody, not hurting yourself, whatever. They're healthy things that you want to do. I was watching a reel the other day, and it was about this guy, and he's like, imagine yourself 20 years from now. I'm sure that person would give anything to be back in the age that you are currently, or the place that you are currently. So I'm 30, 20 years from now, I'm going to be 50. I mean, what if I don't have mobility issues? What if I go blind? What if I lose a limb? These are very negative things, but I'm gonna miss that. And so I try to take care of myself. I take care of my body. I make sure I walk. I make sure I do the things I can do, because mobility is a privilege. It's something that not a lot of people have. And it's something that we should be grateful for, and something that we should use if we have it. So definitely go outside, take a walk, take a run, go rock climbing, do whatever you gotta do, because you never know when you might not have that ability anymore. But anyways, yeah. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble about this. I want to see if I can try to be more slow in my videos, so let me know if this if you like this, or if you like me talking fast. I can talk fast, but I think when I talk fast, I end up saying things that I didn't want to say and all this other stuff, and the vibe kind of gets weird. So let me know what your thoughts are on this video, and if I should make more things like this. And if you like the candlelight, this is the candle, by the way. It's just a like fragrance-free candle. Okay, I'll see you guys later.